What's up everybody? It's Trish and I'm here to talk about the differences between surgical masks and N95s. So the other day I was getting food for my family and I was in my scrubs and I got a lot of looks for being outside with my scrubs, and I was wondering, would it have made a difference if I had worn my mask in public, or would I have gotten more stares? So I posted the question to Instagram and I asked my friends what they thought, some of which are healthcare workers, and I actually got a mixed response. 55% said that they would prefer the mask on if they saw me in public, and the other 45% said that they would prefer it off. But the thing is, it wasn't one side that was more for masks as healthcare workers. It was actually a mixed bag response. Why do we have so many different types of masks? Well, each one has a specific set of layers on it that protect you from different things, such as bacteria particles and submicron particles in the air. The size of these particles determine which type of mask you'd like to wear during that time. Well, masks were first used in the late 19th century, basically to protect the wearer from spread of infection. And that ended up being originally gauze masks that were 2-layer, which were then made into 3-layer masks. That recommendation was first made by the Infectious Diseases Institute in Chicago. In today's pandemic, surgical masks and N95s are widely talked about, but because of the lack of supply, many government officials are now urging the public to wear cloth masks. Here in LA, our mayor has requested that the public be wearing masks at all times. And because of the lack of supply, we've now turned to cloth masks. Now you're wondering, do cloth masks really work? There was a study in 1949 by a guy named Bignett that proved that the prevalence of infection in nurses who wore 6-layer masks decreased by 50%. So if you're wondering if cloth masks work, the answer is yes. It may not filter smaller particles in the air, but because you're not next to a patient doing highly aerosolized procedures such as intubating someone, it may be a good option to wear out in public just to prevent yourself from larger particles in the air. Because of the rise of surgical masks and respirators, there's not as many studies on cloth masks. However, I do believe that any protection is better than none. So now we're going to go ahead and teach you how to make a cloth mask at home so that you can be safe on your short grocery trips during social distancing. Surgical masks are cleared by the Food Drug Administration, FDA. They're fluid resistant and provide the wearer protection against large droplets. The face seal is loose fitting and no fit test is required. Also, no user seal check is required as well. This only filters large particles and does not prevent the wearer from inhaling smaller airborne particles. There is some leakage that occurs around the edge of the mask when the user inhales, and it's disposable. It can be discarded after each patient encounter. N95s are evaluated and tested by NIOSH, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. They reduce the wearer's exposure to large and small aerosolized particles. It's tight-fitting, it requires fit testing, and a user seal check is required before each use. It filters out 95% of airborne particles, including large and small particles. The N95s filter out at least 95% of airborne particles, large and small. When properly fitted, it has minimal leakage around the edges. Ideally, each should be discarded after each patient encounter and aerosolized procedure, but it can also, if needed, be discarded when it becomes damaged, no longer forms an effective seal, or becomes visibly wet or dirty. Obviously, cloth masks cannot replace surgical masks, but the thought is that some protection is better than nothing. So in this next part, I'm going to show you how to make a cloth mask using no-sew techniques. So first you're going to grab a handkerchief or a pillowcase if that's what you have at home, any type of cotton cloth. You're going to fold it over once, and then you're going to fold each end towards the middle. Once you've done so, you're going to take two either hair ties or long rubber bands, anything that you can slip over the edge to make it look like a candy bar. Then you're going to fold the outside inward and slip one edge over the other. Those two edges are going to provide an extra layer of protection, and then you're ready to go. And there you have it, everybody. I made a cloth mask. I know that this isn't super effective in a hospital, but it does provide some protection when you're outside, and standing 6 feet distance just gives you that little bit more extra comfort, extra protection against other people. So if you can't get your hands on any masks, try making the cloth masks and let me know what you guys think. If you can, substitute out the hair ties for maybe something a little bit longer to protect your ears. But if you're not out for very long, I hope this works for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.